Hello. So today we are going to talk about autoimmune conditions. Do you have autoimmunity? Are you struggling with autoimmunity? Somebody you love and care about has autoimmune issues. Have you been to your doctor and they're basically saying like your levels are normal. We got you in check. You're good. There's nothing else you need to do. If that's you, this is for you today. I'm Dr. Justin, Dr. Seth.
What is up? How are we doing today?
Let's get into it, man.
Let's do it.
Is a big deal. And I think it's, first of all, it's going to be on the rise right now with everything else that's going on. And we don't need to get into that. But that being said, I would say like taking care of your immune system is probably a good thing regardless. Correct?
Yeah, you're playing with house money if you don't have an immune issue and you're supporting your immune system. It's always all good. And so the worst time to be focused on your immune system is when you need it. So making sure that everything's right, your body's responding in a healthy, normal way is going to be crucial. And what we're seeing now more than ever, and we don't, like you said, we don't have to get into that, but people's immune response is so overactive, right? So, I mean, it's typically what happens is you got a foreign critter or something like that gets into your body, your immune system gets stimulated, you attack that foreign critter, you create antibodies, everything calms down as you get over the illness. And what happens with autoimmunity is that trigger just amplifies the immune system and it's running on red line all day, every day. And, if you've seen those war movies, Dr. Justin, where like, they're waiting for the enemy and you've got all these troops around and the enemy doesn't show up. What ends up happening is they start fighting with each other and getting drunk and making bad decisions and those types of things. Well, your immune system kind of does the same thing. And so it's like, well, there's nothing to attack. So what are we going to do? Well, we'll just start attacking whatever we see. And that's, we attack the nervous system. That's your MS. We attack the joints. That's your RA. When you have an autoimmune response to gluten, you're going to attack lining of the digestive system, all these different things. And so the solution is supporting that response to be normal, calming and soothing the immune system down. And how the heck do we get to that? How does it get this bad? What are we talking about?
Yeah. And it's crazy too, because traditional medicine says that, and you were kind of getting there too. It's like, autoimmune is your body attacking itself. So your body is just like, it's destroying itself. Well, like, I don't know, the body never really makes a mistake. So the body is definitely attacking something. And in order to take your health to the next level, in order to understand like what autoimmune is and how to control it, it's not about just supporting your thyroid gland or supporting your RA. You're supporting that response. You use that word. That's a very important word to understand. But like the body is attacking something. And if you can figure out what that something is and remove that something, it has nothing else to attack. And so it stops affecting your physiology. It stops changing. That response goes down and calms down and you can heal. We have seen tons of people come in with autoimmune conditions. And really it wasn't autoimmune condition. It was that underlying trigger. And for us, Dr. Seth, and you might see it differently, but we see so much issues with Epstein-Barr virus being a big deal because we deal with Hashimoto's, we deal with thyroid, hypothyroid, and 95% of people with thyroid, hypothyroid type things, Hashimoto or Epstein-Barr virus or past mono infections is the main root cause. And medically, there's no cure for it. Hell, look where we're at today. We're in a viral pandemic because there's no cure for the viruses, right? Like they just don't have a way of taking care of it. That's the problem right there.
Yeah, and so just to speak to that, it's chronic viral infections. Why would that cause autoimmunity? Well, really, viruses like Epstein-Barr, like mono, even herpes zoster, those types of things. If your immune system is not handling those things well, what can happen is if the virus is losing the fight, it'll just go dormant. It'll go to sleep. And then in times of physical, chemical, or emotional stress, now the host, us, is weakened. And what happens? The virus comes back because you never beat it the first time. And so if you are constantly having this stimulated trigger over and over and over again, your immune system never gets a break and it just gets conditioned and hardwired that way. So yes, absolutely. Not being able to handle chronic viral infections is huge with autoimmunity.
Yeah. And then people, because I'll hear this all the time, well, like I have herpes, but I don't have any flare-ups. I haven't had it since college. Like, it's still in you. it's still a problem, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, just what are you doing to take care of viruses? And it's not just when they flare up. Immune system, viruses, you understand, viruses get into your cells and actually can alter and change your DNA. Like it can affect you. And specifically going back to Hashimoto's autoimmune and what the Epstein-Barr does is it gets into those adrenal glands and it just tears those adrenal glands up. And once they burn out, now that they're burned out, you can't support your hormones, you can't support your immune system, you can't support your thyroid, you put on weight to protect yourself, and now you have full-blown autoimmune condition and you're on thyroid medication, you're on another thyroid medication, you're probably on 3 thyroid medications, along with the other inflammatory stuff, and you hate looking in the mirror, and then that stresses you out, which then causes more dysfunction and disease in your body. It's a vicious cycle, and it starts because you don't know and understand what the root is. And can we say, though, it's not always viruses? Right? It's a trigger.
Yeah.
Well, what is that trigger? Where else could a trigger be?
Well, I don't want to move on from this because you said some really, really heavy things there. You mentioned the adrenal gland. Okay. And I'm going to rewind a little bit because I talked about physical, chemical, and emotional stress. Okay. I've had patients with lupus, haven't had a breakout in forever. They get in a car accident and all of a sudden, bam, they did get hit. So the key to autoimmunity is being able to manage and adapt to stress. And you said, man, when the adrenal glands burn out, well, then now you're taking all this medication, everything's messed up. Okay, so if we're going to manage stress, the only way that we can truly do that is supporting adrenal function and then also supporting adrenal conversions, right? So I wanted to touch on that because, I mean, you breezed through such a huge key to this thing. I just want people to hear that for sure. So elsewhere where we can have infections or problems that trigger autoimmunity, how about the gut?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
The gut is huge. And, speaking with experience, my wife has celiac disease. We haven't had gluten in well over a decade, so we manage it very, very well with eliminating food sensitivities for sure. But what happens if I got to tell you, and I don't know if it's a big deal for you guys, but when I sit down with a patient and they say, you don't understand, Dr. Seth, I love bread. No. Let me be very clear. I understand. Everyone loves bread. That's not unique to you. We all love bread. But what ends up happening is you have this immune response called anti-gliadin IgA. And what that is your body's immune response to gluten, and specifically not gluten, but what's in the gluten, which are glycophosphates found in Roundup. So dirty stuff. And when you stimulate an immune response every time you eat bread and you keep eating bread, what are you going to trigger, Dr. Justin?
Responses, reactions. Yeah.
Autoimmunity, right? Hello.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm out with my family and they bring bread. You understand, when I go to a restaurant, I tell I say, listen, here's the deal. I'm a good tipper. Don't you bring that bread out. You are going to screw your whole tip up if you bring the bread. I don't want to see it. I don't want to smell it. I will eat the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
If it's in front of me, I eat it. That's why it's never in front of me. I have discipline in that because it is inflammatory. But like I said, everybody likes it. Now, there are substitutes for bread, and we can talk about that on another time too. You can still have bread. You just have to have it differently. And does it taste the same? No. But it's close if you don't know the difference, right? Yeah.
Well, that's what's really cool. Our niece and nephew are with us at least 2 days a week, if not more. Sometimes my niece is like, I'm just going to move in because she's always has that FOMO, fear of missing out. Since she was a baby, we really don't do a whole lot of bread with her. And so we do weird stuff in our family, like coconut wraps and turmeric wraps and lettuce cups and those types of things. And guess what? She doesn't ever complain. She doesn't ever say that that's gross or whatever else, because that's her reality. So,
and how old is she?
She's 6 now.
And she's 6.
Yeah. Yeah. So if a 6-year-old can do it and you're being resistant and dug in, time to cowboy up or cowgirl up and let's make some changes, right?
But you got to go back and talking about any autoimmune and any disease, any health process, it goes back to like the reason why. And, the old cliche sayings like a man with a big enough why can overcome almost any how. But to give up bread because your wife is sick and you can't eat bread in front of her, it wasn't very hard because you actually do care about your wife, I think, right? Is this
actually, and you were there at the inception of our relationship, Dr. Justin. So we all met in grad school. But actually, no, my my why was much bigger than that. We weren't married at the time, so I was trying to date my now wife, and so my big enough why was I want this girl to like me. So yeah, I don't eat bread either.
Yeah.
Right, that was my why.
but that's it. And then and it can't. And again, a why, and it has to be about something bigger than you. Because if it's just about you, who cares? Just eat the damn bread. But when it's about other people, and as long as you're not just a selfish SOB, which unfortunately, and I talk to so many people around the country, and I talk to so many wives. Husbands don't support wives today. And guess what? What did Dr. Seth say earlier? Stress. Talking about stress. Guess what the biggest form of stress is for most women? It's their husbands. It's their relationships. That's unacceptable. That's just something you shouldn't have to deal with. But I will say this. You're saying women. First of all, I'll tell you a secret. Men are freaking idiots, right? If you haven't heard me say it before, I'll say it again. You'll agree. I'll agree. All the wives are shaking. I'm probably going to get a bunch of thumbs up and stuff over here in the comments. But they are. And we just have to be told what to do and how to support you. And as long as we truly care, I'm going to do it. I don't think I'm doing something that's wrong or hurtful or causing you stress until you tell me. And then I say, oh, I didn't know. I'm an idiot. I just go and do my thing,
Well, and to your point, Dr. Justin, and I don't want to turn this into a Dr. Phil moment, but that is so huge. I tell my wife at least 3, 4, 5, 60 times a week, whatever it is, honey, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. I say that over and over and over again, but poor communication leads to a lot of stuff where like, ladies, you're expecting us to read your mind and do these different things because it's obvious. We are very, very, very dumb as a male species. We're on the struggle bus. So please just tell us what you want us to do. Most of the time, we're good people. We'll do what you want, but you got to tell us, don't make us guess because we're going to guess wrong, or we're going to be watching the game and we're going to miss it.
Yeah. So don't complain. Just ask. And because you need it, because your health needs it, because again, and I don't know that we said this, but remember, physiologically, women can't handle stress the way men can. Physiologically speaking, you don't get rid of it. You don't digest it. You don't break it down. You turn it into inflammation and you re-trigger past viruses that you don't even know that are responsible. Men, he and I, it's like, yeah, I don't know. We'll go get shit done and figure it out.
Yeah. And again, like you're not saying that in a sexist way at all. My wife can handle stress with the best of them, right? She can run a company. She can do logistics. She can be doing QuickBook while dinner's cooking and we're watching the niece and nephew, all these things. But for me, at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, good. It's time to go to bed now. For her, she still carries it with her. And so it's just how you adapt to stress, men and women, totally, totally different.
Totally different.
Why don't you care more? Because I don't care. Like, it's just, we're very binary. We're very simple. Don't overthink it. We're just plugging along.
But that's why more women have autoimmune conditions than men. Because women don't know how to handle stress. And stress, we don't just snap a finger and it's gone. It's always going to be there. But again, that word response. How does your body respond to stress is what we have to work on. And so we got to work on stress management. We got to work on mindset. We got to work on meditations and breath work and breathing, whatever it is that works right for you in order to help you calm your system down. But you also got to find the fire. If your house is on fire, you still got to put that damn fire out. Gut, have you had a stool test? And don't tell me you had a stool test from your medical doctor who checked if you had blood and cancer. And thank God that the answer was no and it was negative. But did they test digestion? Did they test absorption? Did they test inflammation, immunology? Did they test for balance, imbalance? Did they test for triggers, fires, parasites, yeast, bacteria? Did they test for leaky gut? The answer is always what? No. They don't test for that because there's not a drug for that problem, and that's
And then on top of that, specificity and really looking at getting the right information to test. I'm going to share this anecdote with you, Dr. Justin. I'm sure you've had this happen to you a million times. I had a patient, we did a stool test, came back positive for C. diff. And so if you guys don't know, C. diff is a really, really nasty critter. It's hard to clear. We got a fight on our hands. So I was managing this patient. I'm in Northern California. They were in Southern California over the weekend. Horrible flare up, goes to the ER, tells the ER that they have C. diff, high dose antibiotics. And they're like, well, we probably should rerun the test to verify. So they run the test and they're like, this guy's full of crap. You don't have C. diff. Everything came back negative. And so the patient sends me the report. And so the doctor has just been, bad mouthing us and we're, that's not true and blah, blah, blah. And on the bottom of the report, it said in bold, it said, if any antibiotics have been administered within the last 2 weeks, this test is invalid. Mm-hmm. And so I go, hey, did you guys read the bottom of the report? And my patient's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, they're idiots. And they're idiots.
They are idiots, and that's the easiest way. And the thing about that too is we all know that, people all know that, patients all know that their doctors are, and listen, are they smart people? Sure. But their hands are tied. They have to follow what the insurance companies tell them to do. And the insurance companies aren't paying for this stuff. They aren't paying for the wellness stuff. They're paying for the drugs, the medications, and the surgeries. And if you prove me otherwise.
Yeah. And if your issue is not A to B, meaning this marker's high will give you this drug that will lower the marker, you will be beating your head against the wall month after month, year after year, and you're never going to get anywhere, because what we're looking for, that's all crisis management. That's what our healthcare system is. It's a sick care system. And if you have an issue that's more complicated than that, that does not fit into the insurance paradigm. Billable hours, that's not going to be profitable for them. And that's just not going to work. So we got to start looking at things elsewhere, looking at things differently.
But that's why we talk about testing every single week. It always goes back to testing. They're like, what? You guys say the same thing. Well, we do it to a degree. We talk about testing because what you just said, medical tests, test only end stage disease process that need a medication for. That's all they look for. Hello, Miss Amy. How are you?
What's up, Amy?
And the thing is you want to find those underlying triggers. You want to find those underlying issues. You have to dive deep and get your physiology tested and tested properly. Pathways. We test pathways. We understand what the body's doing, and not in the sense of how to force it to be normal, right? But in why it's happening, what's causing it, so that we can remove that and rearrange it and make things go normally again. Yeah. Guys, right now, who would like to be normal or feel normal again? Write normal in the comments. I need somebody to write. Who would like to feel normal?
Yes. You know? Well, and then you talk about not forcing pathways. So whenever we see something in a pathway that's not right, there's a BandAid solution. So get you feeling better in the short term. But, you know, your body's not building up estrogen because you have a lack of calcium D-glutarate in your blood, right? So it's like, all right, short term, here's the BandAid. Long term, we got to go upstream and figure out where the imbalance is, support your body appropriately, so we're not doomed to these pills for the rest of your life. I mean, Dr. Justin, how many times have you had somebody come to you that went to see like a natural doctor or a holistic practitioner, and they're like, all right, this is what I'm taking, and it's, I'm not kidding, 60, 70 different supplements. Is that a yes or yes for you?
Big time. And for 3 years.
Yeah. And how you doing? Well, I'm doing horrible. I'm miserable. Well, yeah, your body can't absorb that stuff. And so what you did is you went and you had somebody give you a whole bunch of Band-Aids, never addressed the cause of the problem. And so that's the solution for the rest of your life. No, thank you.
Yeah. And if they're going to be Band-Aids, they should be Elsa Band-Aids. Just FYI. Those ones seem to work way better, at least in my house. Okay.
Dude, we got the tie-dye ones.
Yeah.
And we'll go through about, I don't know, $30 worth of tie-dye Band-Aids in a weekend, because they're like, oh, and then this hurts and that hurts. There's nothing there. But the tie-dye, it's like a deal with the devil, because they love them, but then they love them and like you can't keep them in stock.
No. Yeah. Time to invest in, I guess, the Band-Aid companies.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm glad to know that they work on the East Coast just as well as the West Coast. So we hang out with kids. So what do you do? So again, autoimmunity, just to recap this just real quickly, is autoimmune is your body attacking something. And if you want to get help, if you want to get hope, if you want to get results, you have to figure out what that something is. Is it viral? Is it bacterial? Is it yeast? Is it parasites? You know what? Sometimes it is mold.
Yeah, biotoxicity is a huge one with autoimmunity for sure.
And you don't know it and you don't see it. And that's the scary thing is you had a leak in whatever, you got a basement, you had a couple leaks and you fixed it. Because I hear it, it's like, well, I fixed it. They came in, they brought in the air blowers. They did everything. I'm like, okay, they did everything downstairs that had been there for how long? Yeah. Right. And it's in the ducts. It's throughout your whole entire house. It wasn't just in the basement, right? And so just remember, like, if something is not right in you, if you are not right, and if you are not well, and if you are not where you want to be, you look at yourself. I started asking people this question. It's like, listen, what do you want? Well, I don't know. Okay, hold on. We're sitting together. We started working with each other. We're sitting together in 1 year at a coffee shop. what does your life look like for you to be successful, health-wise, personal-wise? What does it look like? Where are you? You know, and start helping them build that picture. Because if you want that, then go freaking get it. Whatever's holding you back, all you got to do is figure out what's causing it. And that's the testing that we talk about. Stool testing, super important. Dr. Seth was talking about that. And we don't do viral testing on everybody. It's dependent on certain people, right? It just depends the case. Hormone testing, which then goes back to adrenals. That's the Dutch test. Just it is the best hormone pathway adrenal mapping test that you're going to find out there. And I think when we talk about food allergies and triggering, we talk about gluten stuff. Well, I guess I just said what I was thinking. Food allergies is also really an interesting thing too. And did you ever do your food allergies, Dr. Seth?
Yeah. So at our office, the whole staff did them, and we had some rough ones. And coconut allergies are tough. Coffee allergies are tough. Those types of things. So I was the last one to do it, and I work with.
It's because he's females, folks.
Yeah. So I work with only females. And so we have a lot of estrogen in our office, and then I'm the only male. So like they're all ganging up on me. We just wait till you get yours back. And mine was remarkably unremarkable. It was basically like stuff that I don't eat anyways. And they were so mad. Then when I did my stool test, remarkably unremarkable. They were so mad at me. They wanted something to be wrong so they could just give me the business. But it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, well, it worked out that way for me. I was allergic to everything. And, when I tell people everything I was allergic to, like the question, they're always the same thing. It's like, well, what the heck did you eat? That's everything that I eat. I was allergic to all the healthy things. I was allergic to a freaking salad. I was allergic to broccoli, like broccoli, cauliflower, lettuce, rice, tomatoes, onions, garlic, pepper, eggs, almonds, peanuts, soy, wheat, dairy, cheese, corn, lentils, green beans, kidney beans, Brussels sprouts, baker's yeast, brewer's yeast, sweet potatoes. There was so many things out there. And the thing about it, it was like, boom, I'll give it up. Should I tell the truth? I said, I'm not giving it up in the beginning because I had no symptoms. I had nothing wrong with me. There was no reason for me to give those things up. It didn't make sense. I didn't know what I know today, that was just triggering inflammatory immune responses. Let it go long enough. Let it go. Because then I probably ate more of those things once I found out I couldn't eat them, because don't tell me I can't have it. I want more of it now. And so I started eating these things. Finally, I started getting skin issues, man. And I started getting it was like a little spot right here. I don't know if you've ever had skin issues, but like, has anybody had skin issues that you can agree with? You start scratching this thing. It is like better than, it's better than the whole thing, man. You start going, but then it started coming. It went over this side, and then it started going down this side, and then it go down my legs. And I was like, okay, I got to do some. Did a stool test. I had infections in there. I had the food allergies. I cleared those things up. My body cleared up. It was a response to what my body was doing right there at that time. You fix it, it goes away. And yes, I eat those foods today because I'm not allergic to them anymore, because I fixed the leaky gut issue in the first place.
Yeah, and then I'll leave you with this. So when I said my food test was remarkably unremarkable, I'm from the dairy state originally, and I've known for a very, very long time I don't do good with dairy. It doesn't agree with me. It causes problems, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, just it messes me up. So guess what? I don't do dairy. Dairy did not come back on my food sensitivities because I never eat it. It just doesn't. But I don't need a test to tell me I know it messes my body up. So being honest with yourself as well, independent of whatever a test says, if you know you don't if every time you eat a peach, your tongue reacts and then your tongue goes number, well, you don't do good with peaches. Stop eating them. So it's taking some accountability there is going to be huge as well.
Yeah. Well, cool, guys. Listen, autoimmune. If you struggle, if you know somebody with, make sure you like this. Make sure if you're watching this, #replay, share this around, tag somebody in it, and we'll continue. We'll just keep going. But ask questions. We will bring you answers. We appreciate you guys watching, and have a wonderful day.
Yeah, that's my wife saying so happy for you that I don't have food sensitivities. Yeah, but babe, I don't eat your food sensitivities either, so we do it together.
Yeah. Hey, and Lacey, is there anything that you need him to do today? Just
let me know. Send me an email.
Bye, guys.
See you later.